My memories of growing up in this area are very beautiful. I hold profound memories because this is the place that raised me. This is where a lot of the things that I do now emanate from. But during school holidays, I used to come here. And this is where my interest to try and play around with music, DJing and so forth would begin, because I would serve in the shop or I would serve in the bottle store. And there were different preferences of music, people coming to request like different music. And from that alone, it exposed me to like new music, diverse music, traditional, contemporary, and so forth. And it also helped me understand, different things about society and understanding people from a traditional perspective. My name is Plot Mhako. This is my story, and I'm digital. I'm a digital content creator, cultural and creative curator who runs a couple of initiatives. I'm also a graphic designer and a storyteller. Well, my journey started in Shamba. This is where I was born, and I did much of my early childhood life in the rural Shamba, Badziwa. And later, at some stage, I started going to Harare, where I then started my education. So growing up in the village, I was surrounded by a lot of sounds, sounds of birds, going to head cattle, sounds of cows and chickens. And for me, that alone, I would look at it as the genesis of my creative journey. And then when moving to Harare, I got a chance to start watching TV. But then, TVs were preserved for very few communities. And in my neighborhood, one of the families that had a TV set. So watching TV, that fed my imagination. I started having that desire to become a creative and wanting to be on the other side of the TV station. I would say my mother has been the pillar for everything that I've literally done. Whenever I doubted any decision that I wanted to make, it was the voice and the approval from my mother that would matter the most. So I remember when I decided to get into the media school and study journalism, and I didn't have means of supporting myself to pay for my school fees, and it was my mother who said, go for it and do it. And she paid for literally, I think, the greater part of my first year and second year in the journalism school. And even when I decided to leave my former employment to start pursuing the creative arts, it was my mother who said, if you like it, if you want to do this, go for it, pursue it. So I would say my mother literally played the biggest role in my creative journey.
Ploti aiva mukomana aida kutamba nemawaya nokumhanya-mhanya zvaita zvese maingonzwisisana naye.
But what I know, he used to be very naughty, and he loves music. He used to love music back then. He really wanted to sing, but he was very terrible. He joined choir, and the following day was chased out of the choir. But he kept on coming, Instead of saying D, or it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it was do for float. But so from then, I'm sure that's when we should have picked up that he is an artist, someone who loves music, someone who loves dance.
Being in a professional setting, I got to learn how to do business and how to work professionally. So it sort of created a grounding for me that helped me then secure the money that I used for the first initiative that I ran, which was Jibilika Dance Festival. I managed to build a house at the age of 23. And by the time that I wanted to do Jibilika Festival, I didn't have any money. There were no sponsors like I anticipated. And the only source of income was for me to sell that house. And it took again the voice of my mother to say, if you want to do that, do it. And I did it. I think the level of competition was high, the level of creativity, the level of diversity. Young people went out of their own way. They attempted to fuse and play around, with the different dance cultures, with different costumes, different ideas, just to be able to entertain, but also to win the ultimate prize. And this is a festival that gave a chance to so many artists, including the superstar Jah Praiser. His first ever live performance was at the Jibilika Dance Festival event. Well, there we have it. I mean, that was the 9th edition of the Jibilika Dance Festival. But, it's done, but we're getting now ready for the 10th edition, which is going to be more exciting, more thrilling. Jibilika Dance Festival. 10 years of dance, 10 years of Jibilika. We did auditions online. So the first year it was too costly because that's why I had to sell the house. We needed money to move around. But then after 3G, 4G were introduced, we would ask dancers to even send videos online so that we'll be able to do the audition. So it minimized our cost of movement, but also it gave us more connection because people that would not be able to reach physically were able to connect with them through virtual means. So that really gave a lot of opportunity to a number of artists that would not have got a chance. Looking forward, further from then, I started developing an initiative that would use popular youth culture, dance and music to communicate with young people in schools and communities about HIV through mediums that they're interested in the most. And this was supported by the US Embassy's PEPFAR fund. So for years, I worked in communities and schools and created a number of initiatives that nurtured and gave empowerment to young creatives. Some of them that are also now performing at global stages. Since 2014, I've been in Germany, in and out, and then in 2016 I decided to settle there and raise my family there, but at the same time working there, learning, getting exposed to new technologies, new opportunities that helped me continue with the work that I was doing in Zimbabwe and plow back and further develop the different initiatives that I'm doing at home.
Ndinotaura na Plot pafoni, ndichitaura naye imwe nguva anomboisa inonzi kuti nditaure ndichionana naye nomudzimai wake vese. Munguva anogona kuti kubasa kwake kuno kwakaita chance chemari, anongotumira mari ende munopa mai mari yakati. Saka handogara ndakataura naye nguva nenguva. Anoita kunge ari muno muZimbabwe ari kuGermany.
We get to travel. Along the way, we meet different people, and I got to have different experiences in terms of food, culture, and art.
Earground started during the COVID pandemic. This is a time when people were not able to move around. But I realized that there was the power of the internet and connectivity to connect people from across the globe. So being based in Germany, I managed to create a platform that brought Zimbabwe's creatives from dance, music, theater, you name it, onto a platform where they would be able to tell their stories, entertain each other, but also at the same time just document the positive narrative about the Zimbabwe cultural entertainment scene. And in a space of 2 years, I'd managed to speak to over 600 creatives from the country and also in the diaspora through different means, mainly through digital connection, Zoom, and other platforms that I could use. I've managed to create opportunities for so many artists, notably Ja Praiser, who performed for the first time at Jubileeka. That was his first ever performance, live performance. So I've had the likes of Probits and so many other artists. You can look at artists like Andre the vocalist, who got noticed through Earground. Obed Chari, who managed to break through and became a hit maker through Earground. Mambo Duterere also is one of the products of the platforms that I've created. And the exposure that artists have got through my work has been amazing in the sense that I've seen artists become stars from nothing. Well, for the past 17 years, I've not won too many awards, but I've been recognized as one of the most influential young Zimbabweans for a record 3 years. And I have had the chance to speak at different platforms, international platforms, a fellow of the International Society for Performing Arts, and I've also been a Mandela Washington Fellow with the Barack Obama program in 2015. And I have had the chance to travel around the world, see so many things, come back home, in fact, travel with a lot of creatives from Zimbabwe. And yeah, my journey continues as I'm opening new doors. This year, I'm speaking at the biggest music conference in Dar es Salaam, Access Conference.
Plot is like a brother to me, man. But knowing him personally, I feel like Plot is such a selfless human being. Muna anofara vanhu, muna ada vanhu, muna anofamba ne-community. And he's someone who's doing so much for the industry. He's done so much for me as an individual, as a creative, in my upbringing as well. Because I remember in 2015, I then won the 2015 Dreamstar award. But I think it was in 2013 when I met Plot Mhako, 2013 or 2012. I can't really remember, it was Kudar, And he came to me after losing that competition. It's like, you don't even realize what you're doing right now. No one is doing what you're doing right now in Zimbabwe. And I feel like you just need to work more on it. So he exposed me to like an internet connection. I remember I used to stay in Fakose and he was staying in Glenview. So I used to walk to go to Glenview so that I can, have that internet connection. And sometimes I need to my CDs and my beatboxes. And so my access to the internet helped me grow because I was getting access to the things that were not coming up at TV. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you would rather have everything in the palm of your own hands than having a program on TV it will control so I would walk there and I would type down what I'm looking for. Music, my dances, beatbox, watching all these beatboxing workshops, these competitions. There was this one that I used to love a lot in France. It's actually the one that introduced me to it. It's like, no, you need to watch this, you need to watch this guy, you need to watch so that you can, you can further advance what you're doing. And it really helped me grow, man, because there are things that I started knowing. Is someone who loves to connect people, through social media. There are so many people that have worked with Plot, but they've never met him. That's how much of a force he is, on social media, and he has managed to use social media as a tool to making this a better place for so many artists, so many creatives.
I've used the digital space in so many ways. One of the most impactful ways that I've used the digital space that gives me a lot of joy is discovering and exposing new talent that has grown to become stars. So I have a lot of examples of artists that have had a fair share of stardom because of the work that I've been doing on Airground and other platforms using digital means to connect with people. I've managed to connect with people globally. I've had interviews with Stonebwoy from Ghana, with Tenny from Nigeria, with Jackie, so from Ghana, with Morgan Heritage from the US, but from Jamaica, Grammy Award winning. A local example of someone who has benefited from the digital disruption, the digital work that I've been doing, is Andre the vocalist. Andre's breakthrough was after our post on Airground. We posted querying why the lineup of performers in Victoria Falls for the Victoria Falls Marathon run by Econet did not have an artist from the host town. And I gave reference to Andre the vocalist as one of the promising artists that would make that lineup rock. And the next day I found Andre the vocalist was on the lineup. He performed alongside Japres, Amara Brown. And I think that was a confidence booster for him, both for him, but also for us. It was validation for our work that we needed to continue disrupt in a positive way. The future for the creatives in Zimbabwe and globally is digital, and it's now. We're now living in the artificial intelligence era, where we have augmented reality and so many other, innovations that are impacting the work that is being done by creatives. My name is Plot Mhako. This is my story. I am digital.